My mother's text was a single, gut-punch sentence, "We need to talk about the house." Asterisk I knew. Somehow. Standing there in my corner office overlooking the Seattle skyline, the office I earned as CEO of my own logistics firm, I already knew what the conversation would be. The confirmation came that evening in the dining room of the very house in question. The one with the $980,000 mortgage I'd erased 18 months prior. Asterisk my father, a former engineer, delivered the news like a project update. "Sierra," he said, refusing to meet my eye. "Your mother and I have finalized our estate plans. We know you paid off the balance. We are deeply appreciative. But we've decided to leave the house itself, the asset, to your brother, Liam." Asterisk the air grew thin. My mother reached for my hand, her touch tentative. "He needs the help, darling. He needs something solid to stand on. You've already built your own world." Asterisk I looked at their faces, etched with a pity they mistook for compassion. In that moment, the gift I'd given, the gift of security, of freedom, transmuted before my eyes. It was no longer an act of love. It was an unsecured, interest-free loan to the family bank. And they had just decided my brother was the preferred shareholder. Asterisk my name is Sierra Vance. I am 34 years old. And I had just learned that $980 couldn't buy me a seat at the table where my family's future was being decided. Asterisk our family mythology was simple. Liam was the dreamer. I was the executor. He had ideas. I had spreadsheets. He pursued passion. I pursued stability. Our parents, Robert and Elaine, loved us fiercely but understood us through this narrow, complementary lens. Liam's chronic financial instability was seen as a byproduct of his sensitive, artistic nature. My success was viewed as a fortunate, if slightly sterile, character trait. Asterisk the Vance family home was my mother's pride and my father's retirement dream. But after a bad investment and a forced early retirement, that dream developed a $980,000 crack. They didn't ask for help. Asking would mean admitting the dream was flawed. So I observed. I calculated. And then I acted. Asterisk I didn't make a grand gesture. I scheduled a meeting with their banker and my financial advisor. Within a week, the debt was gone. I presented it to them as a fait accompli, a hurdle removed. "Now you can just enjoy it," I'd said, hugging them tightly. Asterisk for a year, they did. The weight lifted from my father's shoulders was visible. My mother started hosting book club again. Then, Liam's latest venture, a board game cafe, collapsed under the weight of his chaotic management and unpaid vendors. At 32, he returned home, a prince in exile, to reset. Asterisk I was too buried in scaling my own company to notice the quiet narrative shift. My parents didn't see a man failing to launch. They saw a prodigal son returning to the kingdom I had, unwittingly, just paid to fortify. My gift had secured the castle and now they were promising him the keys. I was the royal treasurer, dismissed after balancing the books. Asterisk the days following the announcement were a steady and cold detachment. I went to work, led meetings, made decisions. But inside, a quiet revolution was brewing. My husband, Mark, was my barometer. "They've confused your generosity for infinity," he said. "They think your well has no bottom." Asterisk his words were the catalyst. I stopped feeling and started auditing. I compiled every document, the wire transfer receipts, the bank's confirmation, the IRS Form 709 gift tax return that legally cemented the transaction as a completed gift. I had a paper trail a mile long leading to a cliff of ingratitude. Asterisk I took it all to my attorney, a razor-sharp woman named Naomi who had guided my company through its first acquisition. "Give it to me straight," I said. Asterisk legally, "You're a ghost," she confirmed. "The asset is theirs. The gift is done. You are a creditor to nothing but their conscience, and from the sound of it, that account is bankrupt." Asterisk so what's the play? Asterisk the play, Naomi said, leaning forward, is to introduce consequences. They've made an emotional decision with financial gravity. Illuminate the gravity. Force them to confront the cost of their choice, not just the sentiment. Asterisk the strategy crystallized with cold clarity. I didn't want the house. I wanted accountability. I summoned them to a meeting not at their home, but in my company's sleek, intimidating boardroom. Asterisk they filed in a united but uneasy front. Liam wore his trademark expression of misunderstood genius. Asterisk I dispensed with pleasantries. 2 leather portfolios lay centered on the polished table. Asterisk you have to options, I began. My voice the one I used with underperforming suppliers. Option A, execute your plan. Liam receives the deed. Simultaneously, I will execute a full financial disengagement. I will pay 0% of the annual $18,000 property tax bill. I will contribute nothing to the $35,000 roof replacement scheduled next year. I will not fund the repair of the aging septic system. The full operational and fiscal liability transfers to Liam in perpetuity. I opened the first portfolio to a stark financial model. It depicted Liam's sporadic income being swiftly overwhelmed by the house's demands. His face lost its color. Option B, I continued, opening the second portfolio. We established the Vance Family Legacy Trust. The house is placed into it. I will capitalize the trust to cover all taxes, insurance, and major maintenance for as long as you both live there. Upon the passing of the last parent, the house is sold. 50% of the net proceeds go to Liam. My father interrupted, voice strained. And the other half? The other 50%, I said, holding his gaze. Endows the Sierra Vance Grant for Women in Supply Chain Leadership. It will fund MBA scholarships for women who are building pipelines, not just inheriting reservoirs. My mother's hand flew to her chest. You'd give it away. I'm ensuring my capital serves two purposes, providing Liam a finite, defined stake instead of a bottomless well, and ensuring another woman's ambition isn't later liquidated to fund her brother's potential. The silence was a physical presence. Then the storm broke. My father accused me of corporate cruelty, of importing boardroom tactics into a family living room. My mother wept about legacy and broken unity. Liam cycled from outrage to panic, finally glimpsing the yawning gap between a fantasy inheritance and a crushing reality. The battle waged for a tense week. They deployed every emotional weapon: guilt, duty, familial duty. I parried with facts, figures, and unyielding calm. I was no longer arguing as a daughter. I was negotiating as a stakeholder. The call came on a Tuesday morning. My father's voice was stripped of all fight, leaving only a raw exhaustion. We'll establish the trust. There was no triumph in his voice, and I felt none. Only the grim satisfaction of a necessary, painful surgery. They had chosen the option that preserved the asset but admitted its true cost. It was a surrender to reality. The signing in Naomi's office was a somber affair. As my parents signed the thick stack of documents, I watched my father's signature, once bold and assured, become a careful, weary script. He wasn't just signing a trust. He was signing away the family fable. Afterwards, in the elevator, Liam turned to me. You never had any faith in me, he said. The accusation now laced with a hollow defeat. I had infinite faith in the person you could be if no one kept building you a safety net. Out of my safety wire, I replied. Maybe now you'll get to meet him. My father lingered as we reached the lobby. He looked at me, and for the first time, I saw not disappointment or pity, but a stark, reluctant respect. You dismantled our plan with a better one, he stated. I didn't dismantle your plan, Dad, I said softly. I just showed you the blueprint, complete with the load-bearing walls you were asking Liam to hold up. He can't, and I won't. That was 14 months ago. The Vance Family Legacy Trust is a dull, efficient entity managed by a third-party trustee. My parents still live in the house, but the atmosphere has changed. They inquire about my work with genuine, if hesitant, interest. The automatic deference to Liam's needs has been replaced by a more equitable, cautious dynamic. Liam moved out 9 months ago. The existence of the trusted defined finish line rather than an open-ended promise acted as an unexpected motivator. He now works as a logistics coordinator for a local brewery, of all places. He's surprisingly good at it. We had a drink last month, and he spoke about inventory turns and distribution routes with a focus I'd never seen. He even paid back a $1,200 loan from 2019. The amount was insignificant. The principal was everything. The Sierra Vance Grant awarded its first scholarships last semester. One recipient is a former warehouse supervisor from Tacoma. Her essay detailed how she optimized her shift's loading patterns, saving hours of labor. She wrote, "This grant tells me my mind for systems is worth investing in. Not just my ability to lift boxes." Her letter is framed beside my desk. My father was right that I didn't need the house. I needed something far more fundamental to shatter the implicit family economy, where my competence was harvested as raw material to subsidize my brother's potential. I needed to convert my silent, limitless generosity into a defined, impactful instrument. I didn't receive the asset. I achieved a recalibration. My parents now engage with me as an adult peer whose resources are not communal property. Liam is learning to build his own credit in every sense of the word. And I have finally internalized the most valuable lesson. True legacy isn't about what you're given, or even what you give. It's about what you build with your own hands, and the unwavering courage to put your name on the deed. The house was just an address. My self-worth is the foundation, and I am its sole, unassailable owner.